what it means to be an American. America is freedom, and freedom is special and rare.
We, the people of this great nation.
The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
We, the people of this great nation.
Good evening, my fellow Americans. I hope you're all having a splendid weekend. I hope you guys are spending as much time with your families. And I hope that overall you are coping with everything that's happening right now all around the world and dealing with it in the best of your ability. So many things to talk about. This weekend has been jam-packed with interesting information. And we'll start obviously with the big one, which was the Georgia runoff. The America victory campaign, rally that he did. I think overall he did a good job. Trump is not one that usually goes and campaigns just solely for that individual or those senators that were running. Now, this was a big deal because this determines whether his legacy stays, the mega legacy in case he does not win the election. This will determine how strong the Make America Great and the America First policies work, and how America First, how strong his following and his base is. Got me thinking last night while I was watching him, as he seems to be extremely confident, but that's Trump. He's always been a confident guy, but we all know irregularities occurred in this election. We all know there's some sort of fraud occurred in this election. There is no way Joe Biden got 80 million votes. I mean, that's laughable. That's laughable. Yet as Trump said it, he said it perfectly. Yet when he's giving his Thanksgiving speech, he gets 1,000 viewers. That's just ridiculous. That's a joke. But nevertheless, I think I've actually figured out. I figured out what Trump is planning on doing. I think I understand his. I think I understand what his game plan is here. I've been trying to figure out. Okay, they've been losing court cases. Now again, these are not court cases that are actually all part of his team. They've lost, I think, 3 court cases, his actual team. So I started thinking, I go, why is it that Rudy Giuliani keeps meeting with a specific group of people, the electorals? And then it came to me, I was like, what if he's proving to the legislators, the electorals, the fraud that's happening, and if they feel, and this is constitutionally legal, if they feel as if the election was fraudulent and that Trump actually did win the election, they can literally vote Trump in even though the state certified Biden as the winner. Now, I'm going to tell you the challenges they have, but I'm going to tell you the advantages. Apparently, Georgia's already meeting. Legislators in Georgia are already meeting. Legislators in Arizona are already meeting. Legislators in Michigan are already meeting. Putting those 3 states together, you got a Trump victory. Then you add Wisconsin. Wisconsin has a very good constitutional case. And the reason I say constitutional is because in Wisconsin, in order for you to vote absentee, you have to fill out an application. And they've got, I don't know how many thousands, enough to change the election results of absentee ballots that the proper applications weren't done. That being said, I think Trump has a shot here. I've noticed a different tone in Fox News. So I've been very disappointed with Fox News lately, especially with that cocksucker Leland that goes on Sundays and Saturdays. I feel like today he was attacking. It was not questioning. It was attacking Dan Crenshaw, and I found it quite interesting that punk can go ahead and just attack the Republican that fought for our country, lost a very important body part for this country, for the freedoms this country and Leland has. And Leland goes and criticizes and attacks him on Purdue. Leland, you're a fucking joke of a reporter. If you're trying to make something, if you're trying to be something, nobody really respects you. Most people don't even know who the hell you are, to be honest with you. The only reason I know you is because you're the guy that's always standing there when the fucking hurricanes are hitting you and you're almost flying away. Wish you would. Anyways, so yeah, I mean, it almost feels like Fox News is turning a little bit into CNN. The reason I think that's happening is because they're seeing, in their mind, they see a Trump loss and they're seeing a shift that they have to now go back to their standard reporting. And I think that they're a little bit spiteful as well. If you notice, when Trump put up the screen of videos of why he thinks he was robbed on the election, none of them were Fox News. It was OANN and Newsmax. And that's a problem. I think a lot of people are going outside of Fox, and I think Fox is rebelling because the Trump base is strong. Let me tell you, if Trump tells people not to watch Fox News, they're in trouble. And I'm going to tell you, we have a lot of problems that are coming our way. A lot of problems. China announced that they're going to have an Asia first policy, kind of like the America first policy. Only if, and they're only willing to negotiate with Joe Biden only if he eliminates the America first agenda. This is ridiculous. They're already bullying us. They've destroyed manufacturing jobs. They've destroyed American lives. They want to dominate the world. We all depend on them. And Trump, who was fighting them, Joe Biden's going to bend over and let them put it where. Another thing I wanted to bring up, that's quite interesting too. Matthew McConaughey, I've always liked this man. I've always thought he was an extremely talented actor. I've always thought he was an amazing actor, but he's a Texan, He and the other day, he did something that it just made me like him even more. He stood up for the right. He was like saying, you guys are kind of like forgetting about the other large portion of Americans and that don't feel the same way. And it's not cool what you're doing, like with the criticism. The liberals are being hypocrites by telling Trump supporters to accept defeat. I'm going to tell you, man, you got some tough guys out there. You got John Voight, you got Clint Eastwood, you got a couple tough Republicans out there that are willing to fight. And also, I want to send my prayers out to Rudy Giuliani. It was just announced that he got COVID. I mean, it was obvious. It was obvious that he was going to get it. He's been too much around, and it was just bound to happen. Unfortunately, he's defending Trump, and he's jumping from state to state, interacting with a lot of people, and that's just he's a tough guy. Ain't no doubt about that. So, the Kelly Loeffler and Warnock debate. What a joke, man. This is a guy, and I'm going to tell you why I dislike this guy so much. I dislike this guy so much because he actually met with Fidel Castro. He met with Fidel Castro, this piece of shit. So we know where he stands with. I mean, we already know what he stands for. Okay, he said the military can love God and defend our country. Those are some strong words. He calls the police thugs. Strong words. Coming from a man that's surrounded by cops everywhere he goes. I hope he loses epically. And I really do not agree with Sidney Powell and Linwood, the two attorneys that are handling the Dominion case. I really do not agree that people should not go out there and vote. People in Georgia need to go out there and vote in overwhelming numbers. As a matter of fact, if we prove to them that the numbers are so overwhelming on the Senate races, maybe it'll open their eyes and they'll be like, wait a second, how the hell did this outcome happen in in Georgia, but yet in the main presidential election, Donald Trump lost. Just saying, food for thought for those of you in Georgia who are not thinking about voting. You should definitely go out there and vote. Vote red. They are the firewall. I am telling you, they are the firewall. If President Trump cannot pull this off, and if he doesn't have something up his sleeve, which I think he does, I think he's expecting Michigan, Wisconsin, and all these states, and I think that they're actually going to flip their vote, and they're going to vote for him, even though the state was certified for somebody else. And I think that's big. It's happened before in history. I think it's happened twice before in history, and it looks like the plan that Trump is putting together, just because I'm seeing who Giuliani's presenting the evidence to, and the fact that the legislators are meeting in Georgia, they're meeting in Arizona. It seems like they're trying to prove their case to the legislators so they could pick the electorals so they can choose. And I mean, and the fraud is there. It's obvious it's there. Anybody thinks the fraud didn't happen, you're crazy. You're crazy. I mean, I understand you Democrats really, 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 really hate Donald Trump, and you guys really want to believe that this was a fair election only because your candidate won. But
come on, man.
That shit did not happen. He did not get 80 million votes. I guarantee you, he did not get 80 million votes. There's no way. He couldn't even get 1,000 people to watch him on a Thanksgiving I guess presentation or whatever the fuck he was doing. I don't understand exactly what he's doing. Nobody really knows. Nobody really knows what in the world Joe Biden's doing right now. All he keeps talking about is COVID-19. Apparently, he has no other plans for this country. He thinks COVID-19 is going to last forever. Now, that being said, it's the hypocrisy of the left continues. We keep continuing seeing mayors, governors apologize. I mean, one lady went as far as to say, I don't care, I'm not going to apologize, that's it. The one in California who actually gave the order to shut down the restaurants. It's pretty sad that they're destroying businesses, but Hollywood elites can still keep filming their movies. They're okay to film movies. That's all right. But restaurants, oh, you're going down. Why would you want to live in a state like that? Why would you want to live anywhere that treats the citizens like a dictatorship? That's what it looks like. They don't care if your businesses go under. They're not getting you help. I mean, for God's sakes, I mean, there's so much hypocrisy going on in the Democratic Party that it's beyond my understanding, and nothing happens. They get away with it. I mean, Ilhan Omar's husband actually received $500,000. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back.
Do you feel homeless in today's American political world? Not really into either candidate or party? Guess what? You're not alone. Join me and others just like you across this great country for a discussion of politics from a viewpoint that you can't find in today's media. The Middle. I'm your host, Brian Grozier, and I invite you to join in on the discussion by downloading and listening to the Middle American Podcast.
For COVID-19 bailout, on top of getting millions of dollars from her campaign. I mean, these people are corrupt in every single way. I mean, I don't understand. I mean, look at the guy that we elected. Well, we didn't, because I didn't vote for him, thank God. This is crazy. Biden now, so you can understand the type of president that we will possibly have in office. Biden now, he actually changed the story on his support on bin Laden's raid. Like, he's actually saying now that he was in support of it. That guy continues to fucking lie even after he's president-elect, projected president-elect. I mean, this is ridiculous. This guy's been lying since he got in office. Yet they continue to lie and nobody calls him out for it. Fox News stays quiet. Everybody stays quiet. I mean, it's the craziest thing I've ever witnessed in my entire life. And I'm young, but I'm gonna tell you, man, I'm gonna miss the Trump era. The era where Americans were proud to be Americans, where flags were being waved around. I had never seen that in my youth. I had never seen the patrioticness that I see in America now, thanks to Donald J. Trump. Thanks to President Donald J. Trump. And to me, Joe Biden will, even if Donald Trump doesn't pull something up his sleeve and ends up losing the election, I will always look at him like Joe Biden, like an illegitimate president. Because I know this election was robbed. It's too obvious. We got video footage. And they deny it. They reject it. I mean, look, AOC, all these people, they are all a group of idiots that don't know what communism is. They don't know what socialism is. They pretend to be something they're not. They think Republicans are not working people. Apparently, AOC thinks she's the only one that was a working person when she was born in suburbia, got a college degree, and had all the opportunities that this country offered her. She was a bartender, and she thinks because she's a bartender, she can relate to all Americans and what they go through. No, you can't, bitch. Reality check. You're not one of us. Stop trying to act like it. You don't relate to us. We see right through you, and we don't trust you. It's very simple. You have your own self-interest in mind, and you can care less. You're not engaged with Americans. You don't know what Americans go through. You lived in a very good neighborhood growing up, okay? And you definitely do not know what the black community needs. You do not know that. Defunding the police. Your statements are getting people killed. You moron. And I'm sorry I have to go so in on you, but AOC, you are a moron. Your little comments of defunding the police and people actually taking it serious is causing lives to be lost, okay? Areas you would think any logical human being with a brain would think if there's a lot of crime in a specific area, if you put the presence of police there, less crimes are going to happen. Any logical person knows that. But apparently, AOC, you can't even think like a logical person. You're just a complete moron. And that's just a fact. I mean, you're just an idiot. You and your squad, you're a squad of idiots. I mean, you nobody takes you serious. You'll never be able to run for a presidency. I mean, you think you'll have supporters? You'd win maybe 1 million votes, if that. Let's not forget, guys, these people understand something. Emar, or whatever her name is, Ihan Omar, right? Keep in mind that the area that she wins, where she wins, it's full of poverty. Most of the people are from Somalia. So, and she does a lot of ballot harvesting. She can commit whatever fraud she wants in those neighborhoods. So those people vote for her, but she doesn't speak for the entire country. She speaks for that little one area that just supported her. The same thing as Alexandria Cortez or whatever. They don't speak for America. They speak for a little small group of people that probably don't even agree with them, that they're just voting for them because they don't know what else or who else to vote for. I don't know why they would vote for these morons, but they do. And that's it. I mean, listen, I have faith in our Constitution. I have faith in our Supreme Court. I think that if this ends up in the Supreme Court, I strongly believe it's going to favor Donald Trump. I think a lot of rules were broken. I think they have strong cases just, regardless of voter fraud, they have strong cases just on the changes of legislation and the way they went about this election. I mean, just on that alone, that has enough merit to take to court, and I think they would be very successful in court. So I mean, we have to see what happens. We have to see what happens. I mean, look, everybody saw the Georgia rally. Trump packed once again. He packed the room, and nobody went there to see Senator Perdue or Loeffner or whatever. Nobody went there to see them. It was for Donald Trump. I mean, they were all rooting, 4 more years. if people think that this is gonna go away, they're dead wrong. I mean, they're dead wrong. There's new things coming out every single day. Apparently, a portion of the Durham report, something came out recently stating that the FBI was actually being biased towards President Trump. That the evidence presented leans towards bias towards a president. Where have you ever seen our own country go against the leader of our country? We're living in sad times. We're living in sad times. If we elect a Senate that is Democratic, a full Democratic Senate, House, and President, America as we know it is done. It is done. It is done. I mean, it is done. Everything that we stood for, everything that so many people died for, so many battles were, so many lives lost to defend the Constitution, to defend our freedoms, to defend our rights. That's all going to go out the window. But it's not going to go out easy. Because I promise you, Americans will wake up and Americans will fight back. And I know what team I'm on. You better believe I'm ready. I'm ready. I don't want nothing to happen. Nothing to happen. I do not want any situation that our country's divided to the point where people are getting hurt. But if that was to happen, I am ready and I know who I will stand with. And that's just the truth. I'm not trying to act brave. I'm not trying to act tough, but I will defend this country. My family came fleeing from a country. A lot of people don't even know this about me, but my family came fleeing from a country that was ran by a dictator. Not to mention, my grandfather was enslaved for 4 years without being able to see his kids. In order to be able to come to the United States, he had to cut sugar. The sugar canes, he worked at sugar canes, and he was eating, every single day, he was eating something called yuca. And what that is, it's basically like saying like a potato, like a form of potato. It's grown from the ground. That was his lunch, dinner, and breakfast for 4 years straight just to get us here to the United States. My dad crossed over here, got on a boat with his dad by himself, left his mom behind, which I think he has a lot of trauma because of that. Came over here. Their boat got stranded at sea. They ended up in Mexico, in Cancun. They ended up crossing the border into the United States, of course, for political asylum. And then my dad, years later, enlisted willingly to fight in the war in Vietnam. And then ended up coming back home, having kids, working for the federal government. He even got, he was the first person in his family to get a college degree in criminology. I'm very proud of my dad. And this was all thanks to this beautiful country. And damn it if I allow these socialists and these liberals to fuck it up. To all those sacrifices my father, my parents, my grandfather, they all did to come over here, leaving their country behind, leaving everything they knew and everything they owned for a better life and better opportunity for their kids. So some stupid liberals that were born in suburbia can try to change this country. People that just want to fill up their own pockets as others live in poverty. We had a president that put America first. Damn right, I'm about America first. I want to see every black man making money. I want to see every Chinese person making money. I want to see every single person from all race, creed. I want to see them all making money. All Americans prosper. Not one group. I hate the identity politics that the left loves to use. You know what? I look first and foremost, I look at all people as humans, one race. Second of all, I look at all Americans as Americans, not African American, not Black Americans, not Hispanic Americans. No, they're Americans. If you're an American, you're an American. And I love you equally. We may have our disagreements on politics because we have disagreements on anything. I mean, you meet somebody, you'll find something you do not agree with. But at the end of the day, if you're American, I love you. You're my family. We're part of the same country, and I'll defend you. And I'll defend you to the bitter end if it had to be that way. I just wish people felt the same way I did about this country, but I guess experiences teach people a lot. And I guess the experience that my family went through and what I was able to witness helped me have a different mindset. And I believe that's a good reason on why Donald Trump won a lot of the Hispanic vote, and I think that's why he won a lot of the black vote, because of the simple fact that people saw the message he was bringing to people. People were living better under Donald Trump. Ronald Reagan once asked, "Are you living better now than 4 years ago?" And that's when they started using that as a question for polls. After Ronald Reagan said that comment, he said it some which way like that. I'm not. Again, keep in mind, guys, when Ronald Reagan was president, I was a baby, so I couldn't even vote at that time. Apparently, there is some people. Some of my sources, aside of this, some of my sources told me that apparently Bill Barr might be resigning. I don't know if this is I've been hearing this down the grapevine. My sources up in Michigan, and some people that are involved in the government that I know, they're saying that Bill Barr might be resigning soon. So that's an interesting situation. I just, again, people, we need to be calm. We need to stay calm and collective. We need to wait to see what happens. And honestly, if we see that fraud was committed and they're not doing anything about it, we're going to have to do something about it. We cannot let them steal this election. Our country is too important to let this one slide. We got to let them all slide. Okay? So I'm just letting you know, this is the most fundamental, most important thing every American does, is vote on election day for the elected officials that you want to represent you and the president you want in office. If they take that away from us, what else are they going to take away from us? We're no longer Americans anymore. They're deciding everything for us. They went for our votes. They'll go for our guns. They'll go for our freedom of speech. And God knows what else they'll go for. These people are relentless. These people are evil. And these people have an agenda. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. I did want to make an announcement. From now on, my podcast will be starting Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you guys would like to be on my show, shoot me an email at arepublicannation@gmail.com. That's arepublicannation@gmail.com. Or you can reach out to me via Instagram, The Republican Nation, Facebook, or my website, therepublicannation.com. I'm more than happy to have guests on my show. I have a few guests that are coming up this week. It's going to be very exciting. Some names you may know. And I like to keep it rough. I like to keep it straightforward. That's the way I am. And when I run my podcast, I like Americans to hear other American voices. That's why I like bringing ordinary people onto my platform. Onto my podcast. That's why I focus on having conversation with normal people so they can tell me what they're feeling. So you know that you're not alone out there with what you're feeling. And there's a lot of us out there. So no, I'm here for you. I love you guys. All my Americans, I love you guys. God bless you. God bless your families. And God bless this beautiful country we call America.
America great again.
Hi, it's Judge Janine. I want to thank you for listening to the Republican Nation podcast. It's an important podcast to listen to because the Republican Nation is all about the Constitution, the First Amendment, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, and all of those rights that are important to all of us. We've got to make sure that America doesn't lose any of those rights and that we stay true to our founding fathers' intent. So thanks again for listening to the Republican Nation.